12 billion square miles. That's a lot of distance. So that's just something I wanted to make a note of, just to show the huge big scale of this. But anything is possible. Anything is possible. The distance I'm using is in square miles. Obviously, if they were doing pipes to certain places, it'd be, pipe companies will know different from me because they're the experts. I'm just giving the distance in square miles. You know, so they may have other systems where they have one big huge main pipe and they feed loads of little pipes off it. But, you know, Africa can quite self-sufficiently redevelop itself and using pipes and filter systems from the sea, pumping stations, coast pumping stations to pump the water inland after it's treated. Going back to the population figure, like I say, today I was working on the population figure. I added up all of the population from every single country in Africa. I added up every single country's population. Africa is built up of all different countries. It's broken up into different countries. The total I came up with, as I said earlier, was 888 million people. Yeah? 888 million people. I rounded the sum off to 1 billion people. Yeah? The survival plan for Africa, just for the product, for a weekly food hamper, weekly survival living expenses, food, water, gas, electric, amenities and emergency accommodation, weekly survival equipment, tents, sleeping bags, camping stove, first aid kit, emergency mobile phone, little things like that, you know, serious things. The total cost for 1 billion people would be 300 billion a week. Africa would have to have its own internal emergency backup bank that has 300 billion in finance reserves a week. And that's excluding transportation costs, excluding security costs, excluding distribution costs, excluding all of that. That is just for the product alone, 300 billion a week. That same sum, as I said earlier, is the survival plan for Alaska, Canada, United States, Mexico, all of those countries, Brazil, Argentina, because all of that landmass has a population of about 800 million people. So you do a round-off figure to 1 billion people. So again, it would cost Alaska, Canada, USA, Mexico, Brazil, all of those other countries, it would cost 300 billion a week. Africa, it would cost 300 billion a week. India, it would cost 300 billion a week. China, it would cost 450 billion a week. Yeah? For the whole world, for 10 billion people, it would cost 3,000 billion a week. That is the future survival of mankind. That is the mathematics, the future survival of the human race for eternity, for the future of mankind. I am a mathematician. The sums are correct. The sums will be correct in 1 billion years, in 1 trillion years. If the world population ever went to higher than 10 billion people, I did a survival sum for 20 billion people. It would cost 6,000 billion a week. I did a survival sum in my book up to 100 billion people. If there's any planet out there in outer space and the aliens come down and the aliens need a survival plan for their population, I've done it. This survival plan will be vaulted in a top secure vault in Siberia. There will also be a vault on the Antarctic and in the Arctic. It will be frozen. There will be a time capsule. There will be copies made. And there will be many decoy vaults to exclude it and keep it safe from saboteurs and people who have difficulties. This is a survival sum and plan for the future survival of the human race. There's 2 minutes remaining. These documents will be vaulted and they'll be made copies of. Nothing in the vault is of any use or value to anyone. It's just to protect a time capsule, which there'll be many in certain places around the world. I'm a mathematician, I'm Herbert HEXSON. The humble man prevails. I'm very down to earth, very gravity, very ordinary. I'm not, a celebrity or anything like that. I'm a mathematician, I'm a scientist. I am correct. I'm 100% correct. In my book, I have solved the world and created a survival plan for the future of human race. Standing here and saying build a pipeline for 12 million square miles is easy. In practice, for people within the industry, anything is possible. I started this survival plan and this sum. I just found myself doing it. I was meant to do it. This is what I was meant to do. I've done it. The survival for the human race is 3,000 billion a week. Every week, for the next 100 years, for the next 1 trillion years, for the future eternity of mankind and womankind, for the future survival of the human race. This is Herbert HEXSON for my private corporation, ZXI. Thank you very much. This is anything is possible. I've designed a survival plan for USA, Canada, Africa, Russia, China, for the world, for 10 billion people plus. It's 3,000 billion a week. That is the cost just for the product. I've done it. Thank you very much. Mathematician, Herbert HEXSON, 2013. Thank you. Never give up. Food, water, homes, very, very important for the future survival of the human race. Very important. Never give up. Lake Chad, the demise of that environmental thing, it won't be there in 20 years probably. The world is changing on a big, big scale. We don't see it day by day, but in clunks of 20 years, we do. Thank you. This is ZXI, Herbert HEXSON, mathematician. 3,000 billion a week is the survival sum for 10 billion people. If you have a pen and paper, you want to write it down, the survival sum for 10 billion people is 3,000 billion a week. Thank you. This is Herbert